Welcome to the broadcast. Today, we are tracking a developing story regarding the physical cash in your wallet. Imagine going to a bank and pulling out a completely new denomination, one that looks nothing like the 20s or 50s we use every day. That possibility is currently on the table. We are receiving reports that the U.S. Treasury Department is drawing up preliminary plans for a new $250 commemorative note, which would feature the portrait of Donald Trump. The immediate roadblock to this plan is a strict federal statute. Since the 19th century, the United States has legally prohibited any living person from appearing on its currency. The specific driver behind this proposal is the upcoming semi-quincentennial. That is the official term for America's 250th anniversary in 2026. Proponents are looking for a highly visible national way to mark the milestone. So, producing this celebratory bill requires bypassing a legal tradition that has dictated the design of American money for generations. And the Treasury Department, which oversees the production of our money, does not possess the authority to waive that law on its own. Exactly. This requires a literal act of Congress. Lawmakers would have to draft and pass specific legislation to approve the exception. That requirement turns a commemorative concept into a legislative debate, pitting long-standing currency norms against the realities of a divided Congress. Supporters of the measure argue that a $250 bill serves as a grand, fitting tribute. They see the 250th anniversary as a rare milestone that warrants a large-scale, physical commemoration. Critics are pushing back on the allocation of Treasury resources. Their primary counterargument is that taxpayer money and government focus should remain strictly on immediate economic concerns, rather than on celebratory printing projects. Beyond the politics, the denomination itself is unusual. Take a look at this standard $100 note featuring Benjamin Franklin. For decades, this has been the highest value bill in general circulation, but higher denominations used to be common. Here is the discontinued $1,000 bill, featuring President Grover Cleveland. These were largely used for transactions between banks before electronic transfers took over. The Treasury even printed a $10,000 bill. As we can see on this surviving note, it carried the portrait of Salmon P. Chase, who served as Treasury Secretary under Abraham Lincoln. Reintroducing a large denomination today, specifically a $250 bill, represents a structural shift in how American cash is organized. Then there is the physical friction of minting money. Designing an entirely new banknote is a highly complex bureaucratic and engineering process. Modern anti-counterfeiting measures take years to develop. If we look closely at this modern $100 bill, you see the intricate microprinting, the color-shifting ink on the bell, and the woven 3D security ribbon. Engineers must design and rigorously test these elements from scratch. Because of intense security requirements, aiming for a 2026 release is an extraordinarily tight timeline. Historically, currency redesigns have taken over a decade from concept to circulation, so even if the proposal clears Capitol Hill, the physical limitations of the printing press might dictate whether this bill ever reaches the public. Stepping back from the logistics, this story touches on a broader question of how the United States chooses to honor its history in real time. Internationally, other nations frequently place modern or living figures on their currency. The U.S. proposal, if passed, would align American currency practices closer to that global norm. The debate captures a specific friction in modern America, deep-rooted historical traditions clashing with a highly polarized, dynamic political present. It leaves us with a profound question as the semi-quincentennial approaches. Exactly. When a nation celebrates a quarter of a millennium, who and what should represent its face for the future?